looking at 189 East Lakeshore Drive, which is also the Mayfair Condominiums. This was the former home of the Mayfair Regent Hotel, and it was converted in the 90s, I believe. I know who the developer, Bruce Abrams.
The great Bruce Abrams,
exactly.
Who's no longer with us, unfortunately.
And this is the only condominium along East Lakeshore Drive, and you've got fabulous views, of course, facing the lake. They're smaller units. They kept many of the original floor plans intact, but a lot of people combined units and have quite substantial homes.
Some of the units are high enough that they also have great views facing south.
They do.
And I think some of them have balconies facing south.
Balconies and terraces, and when we were walking this direction, there are some trees up there, and you'd have to, I think, plant those trees, saplings, to get them up there, or you'd have to hoist them all the way up top. So they're doing some facade work to the front.
I know the penthouse up there is a full floor unit because it was originally the developer's unit.
That's right.
Anything for sale here?
In the Mayfair, I didn't look up that one, so I'm sure that there is, because this was a fairly recent conversion in the late 90s. So
I toured a beautiful half floor in there with Joanne Nemirovsky.
I remember that listing.
It was a great unit, and it struck me as being pretty reasonably priced.
Relative and compare, it's all relative, but most people think that these are all priced, and I picked out some of the more expensive units just to highlight. But there are some that are really quite reasonable, but again, being co-ops, most of these buildings, it has different financial qualifications than the condominiums.
Do some of them still wire financing, require 100% cash?
50%. Now
50%
you can do 50% down, but that used to be the barrier with co-ops were the 100% financing or cash deals, as well as other verification to prove that you could afford the monthly assessments as well. Are you looking at 199?
I am. I also consider the co-op board approval kind of a hazing ritual, very much like joining a fraternity or a sorority.
Spanking with a paddle, or
joining a fraternity or a sorority. I like the beautiful curved bay windows on this building.
It's beautiful. This was built in 1913. There are only 13 residences. There is currently a 3-bedroom, 3.5-bath duplex on 2 floors for $4.6 million. I think that's been reduced too. And that's the amazing thing, that there are properties that are a little bit longer on the market here, and it used to be very short market times because this is such desirable real estate.
It used to be at some point there were no market times because they sold privately before they ever hit the MLS.
You had to, all through networking and connections. So it's quite amazing that there are this many opportunities to get this kind of real estate.
This is almost like waterfront property because it's so unique in Chicago and so rarely available. Let's head further east.
Oh, we were talking about the hazing rituals. I'm just thinking, what would you do in Chicago? Jump Polar Bear Club in the winter time. I've done that off North Avenue. January 1st, New Year's resolution. Never do that again. What I find amazing is all of this parking early in the morning on Memorial Day weekend. Either everybody's gone or everybody's on their bicycle, but
it's pretty unusual.
This is also an absolutely gorgeous building, 209. And I'm sure you know the little bit of trivia about the famous resident who lived here. You don't need a hint?
You're gonna tell me.
I'll give you a hint. Newspaper columnist. Had a pen name. No. Gave advice.
News to me.
Landers.
Ann Landers, that's right.
Also letterer. Letterer, right, exactly. This is another Beaux-Arts building designed by Marshall and Fox. very well maintained, as most of these homes are. They're
See the Beaux-Arts features more at the base than as you go up the building.
I'm keeping an eye out for that mascaron, but I think there's one at the very end, which is the most ornate building. And the Beaux-Arts style was a neoclassical French, Italianate, Renaissance style.